Don't go back. Thomas is a busy engine. He is very good at shunting trucks. Thomas thinks he can shunt backwards and forwards faster than any other engines. One day, Thomas and Diesel were waiting at the quarry. The quarry manager arrived. Thomas was sure he could win a race and do his job at the same time, but racing with Diesel can be a little tricky. And this gave Diesel an idea. So the two engines raced away, backwards. Thomas huffed to himself. Thomas was determined to win. Thomas and Diesel took separate tracks to the harbor. Thomas thought to himself. He steamed backwards towards the harbor. But Thomas couldn't see that Diesel was right first behind him. Thomas bashed straight into Diesel. Stone poured down from the harbor. Thomas was covered from funnel to footplate in dust. This made Thomas cross. Now he wanted to beat Diesel. So the two engines raced away to the washdown, backwards again. Thomas and Diesel buffer to buffer, racing down the line. Thomas huffed to himself. Mavis was at the washdown. She was enjoying a soapy soak, but Thomas couldn't see Mavis. He raced backwards into the washdown and bumped into Mavis, who came off the tracks. Then Diesel rolled in. But Thomas was too excited to notice Mavis derailed. He was enjoying being the winner. Now Thomas no longer thinking about his job. He was focusing about winning. First, Diesel revved his engine. Then Thomas pumped his pistons, and the two engines raced away, backwards again. He huffed to himself as he was determined to win. Thomas and Diesel raced straight to the engine sheds. But then there was trouble. Ari and Bert were resting at the engine sheds, but they see Thomas and Diesel racing towards them. They raced towards the engine sheds and bumped the Diesels with a huge bump. Thomas and Diesel crashed Ari and Bert right at the back of the engine sheds. Stones and timber flew everywhere. Just then, Henry arrived. To make matters worse, the yard manager arrived. Now, Thomas felt worse than ever. Thomas puffed over to Henry. And Thomas chuffed away quickly. He felt really terrible for what he had done. He thought to himself. Soon, Thomas shunted the unloaded trucks into the hopper. Soon, all the trucks full of stone were ready to go, and Henry puffed away to the docks. Next, Thomas fetched Rocky to help Mavis. Mavis was relieved to be back on the track. Then, Thomas helped Ari and Bert next. Soon, Ari and Bert were back on the track. Then Diesel rode in next to Thomas. Soon, all the freight cars were loaded with the broken rumble and timber, and Thomas and Diesel shunted the trucks away together. At last, the job was done. So the two engines raced front together at the quarry, and they both arrived together as one.